Hello, and welcome to the short presentation from Royal Cyber, where we will demonstrate you how IBM products can help you in executing your business more effectively and efficiently. You're about to watch an overview of various functionalities of IBM Rational Focal Point, and these videos are intended to provide a head start with configuring and using IBM Rational Focal Point to its full potential. So considering the creation of users, workspace, modules, attributes, and elements is already known, so we'll begin this presentation with views. In Focal Point, only an administrator can access the modules directly. Normal users use views to access information from different modules. Views are used for selecting a subset of the elements in a module, and the process of defining views is made by an administrator. Regular users only have access to certain elements and attributes through view. This access must be given explicitly to the user by the administrator. Now to begin with the demonstration, I'll be moving to the Rational Focal Point web console. To begin with, I have logged in as Car Workspace Administrator, and by clicking on the Car Workspace, I'll be presented with the dashboard for the current administrator. Along with that, on the left panel, I have option to view details of all the modules and all the elements within each module, and the detail of all the attributes within each element. Also, I can add new elements to different modules, can do the pairwise comparison between different elements, and based on the comparisons can visualize the results. In addition to that, I can also configure workspace, modules, attributes, views, and view commands through this panel. And last but not least, can add different members to this workspace. So as we understand that this is an administrator view of the application and cannot be shared with other users, therefore we would have to create views for enabling other users to access the application and interact within their specific roles. So therefore, for a demo, we'll be creating a new user who would be granted views as per configuration, and we would see how the views will affect his usability of the application. So for that, we would go to the members, and we'll first see the existing listing of the members. As you can see, the members are categorized as per their role, and each role has certain views associated to it. Since for a demo purpose we would need a separate category which does not have any role associated to it, so we would place a new member within the test folder. To add a member to this folder, we'll press the Add Members button, and it will present us with all the members who are currently registered in Focal Point. So from the listing, we'll choose Richard as our member for the test folder. Here we'll choose to inherit the permissions from the test folder, and as you can see, Richard has been added to the test folder. For now, Richard does not have any views associated to him, and similarly there are no views associated to test folder either. So if we log in with the Richard, so we will see there is no view available for Richard, and so he would not be able to see any detail of the car workspace. We will log in as Workspace Administrator again, and by going to the workspace we'll create a new view for Richard. To do so, we would go to Configure and then choose View. Here we see the listing of other views which are already allocated to different categories within members. To create a new view, I'll press the Add View button. Here you can see for the new view, you get to the mandatory attributes, that is what this view would enable users to do, and on each panel what toolbar options will the user have through this view. So in our case, since we want Richard to be able to add new element to the car module, so I'll name this view as Cars, and instead of display I'll enable the add option. The toolbar setup is not applicable to add menu, therefore we wouldn't be affected by these checkboxes. By pressing OK, the view now needs to be associated to a particular module from which it would be retrieving the information of the elements. In our case, we would want this view to be associated to car module. Here we get to decide if this view would be used for display purpose or for adding new elements to a certain module. So in our case, since we would be adding elements to the car module, so we would change the false value to true. Further, here on this screen, we get to decide what rules will be applied to this particular view. We can add multiple rules to this particular view. For instance, we can restrict this view for Richard only as well by choosing that the creator must be Richard, which would mean that if this view would be applied to any other member, then that member would not be able to add a new element to the cars module. For now, we would not be restricting this view to Richard, but we want it to be a generic view so that it can be used by other members as well, so we would not apply any such rule. So we'll just move on with the standard rule. And on this screen, these are the different attributes which are present within each element of the car module. And we get to decide for each attribute, either it would appear on the add screen, or it would be appearing as only visible entity but not editable, or it would be both visible and editable while the user would be adding a new element. Also, for all the attributes which are of choice type, we get to choose if any particular option should be restricted for this view. We can uncheck that from this list. And again, for the choice attributes, we can also decide the default value from the listing that is available. With this, we come to an end of creating a view. Now the view has been created, and we can see the definition of this view from this screen. Now we have to assign this view to Richard. So we'll go to the members. There are two ways to assign this view to Richard. If we want this view to be associated to Richard alone, then we can only assign it to Richard from here. But if we want all the members of the test folder to be able to add element to the car module, then we would apply this view to the test folder so that all the members within this folder would inherit this view. So here I am enabling the cars view for this category. Let's see what would be the Richard's view now. So as we log in with Richard and we go to the car workspace, we now see that the Richard has option to add cars as well. We go into the cars option and you see that now Richard can add a new car to the cars module. Also, as we disable two of the options from manufacturer attribute of the cars module within this view, Mitsubishi and Suzuki is not listed within this choice list anymore. But even now Richard would not be able to see the cars that have been added by him. So for that reason, I would create another view from the administrator console, which would enable Richard to view the cars that will be added by him. From the dashboard, we would go to the views. Our objective is to enable Richard to view the cars that are added by him. So for that purpose, there is an existing view which has a similar definition. So let's see that view. It says view cars for current users. As per the definition of this view, it enables users who inherit this view to view the details of the elements. And if you see the definition of this rule, it would bring only those elements for the display for which the creator would be the current user, and which is the requirement in our case. So we'll simply apply this view to Richard. With the view successfully applied, let's log in as Richard and see if there has been any changes in his view. And as we can see, a display menu has also been added, and it says view car for current users. Since Richard hasn't added any car as of yet, therefore there is no car for the display. Otherwise, if the car would be added by Richard, then it would appear in the display menu for Richard. With this we come to end of a demonstration related to views, how to configure them and assign them to different members. If you're interested in learning more about this tool, you're welcome to contact Royal Cyber representatives. Thank you and have a good day.